We're going to start with some questions, and I want to direct this to Mr. Monhay and Ms. Bickert. But as you mentioned, both of you, I think, in your testimony, Google, Facebook, Twitter, and Microsoft announced the formation of a hashing coalition to better identify and ultimately remove offending content. The question is there any shared standard for what constitutes extremist or terrorist content in your coalition?
Thank you, Chairman, for that question. Our companies are constantly working with one another and with civil society and with smaller companies to address the issues that change and evolve as new things that we see around the world. We are constantly adapting how we attack the challenge, and we do rely on the advice and good counsel, not only of our peer companies, but also of academics and NGOs.
There's no standard definition, though, okay, that you've agreed upon.
That's right, Mr. Chairman. I would just add that the companies, we launched the Global Internet Forum in June of 2017, but we've actually been working together for a number of years informally. Part of those meetings is discussing what the appropriate standards are, recognizing, of course, that these different products work differently, but the two types of policies I think you most commonly see are first directed towards the groups having any presence on the platform. So for instance, at Facebook, if you are Boko Haram, you cannot have a page on Facebook, even if you're just talking about the lovely weather. You just simply can't be on the platform. And then the other types of policies that you see certainly across the major companies is banning any praise or support of these groups or their actions.
Okay. Thanks. Ms. Downs, according to the Counter-Extremist Project, one single bomb-making video used to instruct the Manchester suicide bomber has been uploaded to YouTube and removed 11 times, but continues to resurface as recently as this month. How is it possible for that to happen? And why aren't your hashing efforts working to keep this video off your platform permanently?
Thank you, Chairman. As I mentioned, we have strict policies against terrorist content, including videos that instruct people on how to commit terrorist attacks. This certainly includes bomb-making videos, videos instructing people on how to drive vehicles into crowds, and so on. This particular video was caught by our systems. We have used it in our hash sharing database, and we are catching re-uploads of the video quickly and removing it as soon as those uploads are detected.
Okay. Are your companies, and this is, anybody can answer this, but are your companies, as you start to roll out some of these new counterterrorism programs, how do you have ways of measuring their effectiveness? What's sort of the metric or the standard?
Chairman, at Twitter, we've really doubled down on the technology, on the machine learning to try to identify and remove content as quickly as possible. So our metric is how many accounts are we taking down, how many accounts are we identifying proactively, and how many are we able to take down before they're able to tweet. And we've seen steady progress in that. We started, we were taking down about a third of our content proactively with our machine learning. Today that's north of 90%, with 75% of that coming down before anybody gets a chance to tweet. And so that's how that's our main metric.
Okay. So it's been reported that ISIS surrogates are using AI bots to carry out recruiting and messaging campaigns, and you know, as you all become more sophisticated in how to prevent and root out the bad people, also become more sophisticated in how to get around, and the threat evolves. So, are you seeing that level of sophistication? And if so, what are you doing to mitigate it? The use of AI against you by these groups. Anybody want to take a stab at that?
In addition to our policies against terrorist content, we have very aggressive and proprietary spam detection systems, which would catch massive re-uploads of AI-generated videos. So our long history in fighting spam across our services is an effective technique to get at that behavior.
Okay. Anybody else?
I would just agree with you, Chairman, that it is a cat and mouse game, and we are constantly evolving to meet the challenge. When we often in the past would ban an account, suspended account, they would try to come back and then brag about the fact that they were banned. That became a very strong signal for us, which resulted in them being taken down even quicker. So they have stopped doing that.
Okay. My time's expired. Senator Nelson.